Welcome back, welcome back. This is the Face of Sports here on WESN Content Capital. And we are going to be talking rugby as we promised you. We've got with us the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Rugby Union, Maria Wilson. Maria, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And next to her, we have Special Ryan, who's a number of portfolios. I'm not going to try to explain all of them. She's involved with Harvard, she's involved with CPO, she's involved with Ruggers. She'll explain all when her time comes, but I want to thank her. Special Ryan, welcome.
Thank you.
Maria, first question, how long have you been president of the Trinidad and Tobago Rugby Union?
I was elected in 2021, and of course this was coming right at the time when we were under some pressure. And so it has been quite a journey and an experience to, have this honor bestowed upon me for the rugby union, and very exciting to see how the community has really raised the level of commitment to make sure that we come out of COVID-19 in a positive way.
Why did you choose rugby, or why did rugby choose you?
That's a good way to put the question. I think that it was rugby that chose me. I started rugby late. I was already in university. And one of my colleagues just came and said, Maria, you should come and play rugby. And I did, and it's been a whirlwind since then.
Did you play another sport before that?
Oh yes, I played every sport that I could, that
why
I
choose
had
rugby
access
then?
to.
So why rugby over the other sports?
Well, I played many sports before I
Right.
played rugby, and since playing rugby, every sport I play is now rugby. So,
Right. Okay.
yes, so I like the contact, I like the intensity.
Yeah. Then if I want the question I'm coming to right now, most people would say when they hear Maria Wilson in charge of the Trinidad and Tobago Rugby Union, why is a female in charge of rugby? Because rugby is considered to be a very aggressive sport, for want of a better word. I don't want to say violent, aggressive, because unlike the NFL where there's protection, and I was just talking about the NFL, and I'll talk about that tomorrow, where there's protection, there is no apparent protection on the service, no helmet, no gears.
Mouth guard.
Beside mouth guard, all right. and boxers have that too, right? So why did you choose rugby? Rugby is considered an aggressive sport. I would like to think, were your parents happy that you chose rugby?
When I made the national team, yes.
They were?
When I made the national team.
After?
Yeah.
Not
Then
before?
there was, I think that my parents were maybe a little bit more concerned, some of the issues that you've raised, but then seeing the opportunities that opened up and the success that's available, and not only as a player on a national team, but there are other teams that you can play on and get a lot of visibility, and a number of professional pathways that you can find through rugby as well. So they're definitely on board now. So yes, those things are true of rugby, but I find that rugby is such an honest
So you didn't mind being hit?
I love it.
All right.
I find rugby is such an honest sport, and that's what you have on the pitch, yeah.
All right. Special, same question for you, because you're in the same sort of situation, obviously. Why rugby? Why did you choose rugby, or rugby choose you? Same question.
Rugby had to choose me because I didn't know it existed until I started secondary school.
Right.
And actually, when I started secondary school, that's when rugby came into the school. So everybody that joined the team at that point, it was their first time. So it was fairly new to everybody. Like, nobody knew anything about this sport.
And going in there and knowing that somebody's going to charge you and hit you and you can't really retaliate. How you deal with that?
I didn't have any issues with it, actually. It's not something that I was thinking about. I just knew that this was the sport, this is what we had to do, so this is what we're going to do.
How has it been so far?
Very, very eventful. It's a lot to talk about, because as Maria rightfully said, I'm like a part of everything. But I think that I would encourage anybody to join this sport.
Has it been difficult being a female involved in rugby at the highest level in terms of administration in Trinidad and Tobago?
For me right now, no, not really.
No?
No.
Maria, same question here. I mean, rugby could be considered by many to be a male sport, obviously.
Yes.
When people hear about females involved in rugby, they might say, females just play rugby? Really? This is how people have took a long time to accept women in football. How has it been for you?
Well, our community is very inclusive, right? And as I said before, rugby is a very honest sport. You said you don't have a lot of padding, a lot of protection. You say already there are these things that you have to look out for where people are there's going to be aggression, right? But knowing the difference between aggression and anger, just because you're being aggressive doesn't mean you're angry. It doesn't mean that you're trying to hurt someone, right? We have the laws of the game set out so that when we take the pitch, we do so knowing what we've signed up for, and appreciative of our opponent because, I mean, they're the reason that we get to play as well. So I like to say that we play with each other and not against each other. And that goes off of the field into the rugby community as well, into administration, into coaching, into reffing, into all the areas. And it's really a case where when you come out and you prove yourself, then that's all it takes. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. You just come out and you're accepted based on what it is that you bring to the table and how you fit into the community.
So do you still play rugby?
Well, I'm not saying that I'm retired yet, though many people are asking me that question. Rugby players, they retire and come out of retirement a lot. So I'm not going to say that I'm retired, but my last game would have been in 2019 at the Pan Am Games.
Right, that's a Trinidad and Tobago, but do you play for a club in Trinidad as well, a club?
No, I'm just playing behind the desk right now.
And
it's harder.
It's harder. I want to go back and ask specialists a same question. As working behind the desk, how hard is that? Because you are secretary, and when you say secretary, that normally means work behind the desk.
Yes and no for me.
Okay.
I wouldn't say something difficult because you have a team alongside you. So it's not just you doing all the work by yourself. You have people you could go to for help if you feel stuck, if you need advice for anything, you'd have people that you could work
so
with as well.
So explain all because when Maria gave me the information on you, there was so much information we couldn't put all on the screen. So please go ahead, please tell us.
I don't know where to start.
Start with the assistant secretary, CPOs, and then ruggers, and then Harvard.
Okay, so I am the secretary for the Harvard Rugby section. I was appointed last year. Okay. So it was fairly new to me. I'm familiar with things like that, but this was my first time being in this capacity to deal with so many people. In the beginning, I kind of thought it was going to be overwhelming because dealing with so many people, as I said just now, different personalities. So it was kind of me allowing myself to be in this new space and learn from everybody else. For CPOs, I am the assistant coach, and it has been very, exciting, and I have experienced a lot of great energies from people. And
let's explain for those who may not know what is CPOs or who is CPOs.
Oh, sorry. CPOs Ruggers is a rugby team. We currently have under 20s, boys and girls, as well as youths who play TAGX. But I guess
CPOs is from Laventille. Huh? Where's CPOs from?
No. It's more or less East Port of Spain.
East Port of Spain, all right.
Yeah.
East Port of Spain.
Yeah. And yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. So Maria, what has been as the president, what has been the most testing time for you so far during your, this is 2021, so this is your third year? Third year, all right, third year. What has been the most testing time for you all?
You know what's the most testing is that the more success we have, the more work we get. So that's excellent and it's wonderful. And I was very excited to be able to bring other guests on this evening because it's only possible when more people join the team. You know, Special said that she doesn't find it difficult because she's got a great team around her. And that is absolutely true, you know, and we've built our executive as well. So we call ourselves the execu team. And they're not able to be here with us today, but of course they are also working behind the desk, behind the scenes. And I will say, Special, after you said that it's not hard and I said it was, that Special still plays. She had her first cap off for 15s rugby this summer in Jamaica. It was the return to the 15s format. It was a historical moment for rugby in our region.
Anybody still playing 15 now? Anybody still playing?
We brought it back.
Everybody's in the sevens.
Yeah.
We brought back 15s
sevens
for
that
the
come
women.
like T20 cricket. Much
Yes.
more exciting.
Yes. So I think that she's got some outlets that I miss having, and perhaps maybe I need to be looking less retired than I do right now. Maybe I might need to take a run.
All right, so that will be your choice, obviously. But from the point of view of the administrator, so let's look at rugby in Trinidad and Tobago, Maria. Recently, we would have had the Commonwealth Youth Games. We had a rugby team that participated. One of my guests, in fact, the only guest I had just now, was remarking to me that during that time, and he rekindled my memory, that it wasn't the best results that the team attained. How you deal with a situation like that? Because when people, you know, we in Trinidad and Tobago judge on results most of the times. Not necessarily the fact that the team may not have been together training, or they may not have played enough of these matches, or they had enough practice matches. Nobody's interested in that. They're interested to know that Trinidad and Tobago lost 21, 20-0, and the scoreline was not good. How you deal with a situation like that as the president?
So for me, both as the president and personally, because I see all the work that went in behind the scenes, because I know the things that were overcome, because I know the challenges, right? The numbers that come up, they pale in comparison to everything that happened, everything that had to build for us to even be there. So being there was absolutely a win. Were there things that we had hoped would have come to fruition prior to those games? Yes, right? There were preparation tournaments that we had hoped to attend. There are a number of things, but you know how it is. Anytime you see some sort of success, there are probably about 9 or 10 things that didn't work on the way to getting that one success marker. And so I am incredibly proud of our athletes. I'm proud of our community that supported the athletes and have really been uplifting them and sort of changing that culture in that, it's only about the result, because there has to be a journey. No Olympian gold medalist woke up one morning and stood on a podium, right? There's an incredible amount of work that goes on behind the scenes.
How do you convince people? Everything you say I understand, but it's about convincing people.
You can even look at some of the milestones. So there were 2 Caribbean nations represented in Commonwealth Youth Games this year, and that's excellent. Those are 2 nations that aren't in the top tier rugby nations that we consider. That's something where perhaps we could have won a tournament that wasn't Commonwealth Youth Games and everyone would have been applauding, right? But this is the next level. And so every time you level up, yes, it's going to be harder and that's going to show, but it doesn't mean you didn't level up.
Okay, so based on what you would have just said, yes, your team would have set some goals. What are some of the goals that you would have? Is it a 4-year term? How does the term work in rugby?
It depends on a term of
term office. Term office. Sorry,
of office, it's 2
yes.
years.
2 years. Well, then you're up already?
Yeah, so we gotta do as much as we can, as fast as we can.
So
right?
there's a next election around the corner or something?
April.
Wow. Okay. So were you unopposed? I didn't ask. Were you unopposed or were you opposed when you went up?
In 2021, I was opposed. I was unopposed. Well, 2021 was actually coming out of COVID. We hadn't held the previous AGM. Yes. So it was a different AGM where all of the positions were up for election.
Right.
So my first term was only 1 year and not 2.
Okay.
And then when it came to the next election, I was unopposed, and then we'll see in April.
See what happens. All right,
see
fine.
What happens.
So have you set yourself any goals?
Many goals.
Right.
One of the goals that I'm most proud of seeing the results is aligning what we do in rugby with people's lives. And whether that's their personal lives or professional lives, making sure that there's an alignment. We play rugby because we love it. And sometimes when you're doing something for fun, you don't realize how many ways that it can help you in your life, right? So, Special here, she's, as a player, as an assistant coach, she's been helping out with refereeing, the administration side of it. So she's actually getting a very full-rounded experience, which also helps her in each of those capacities. As a player that doesn't understand what the referee is telling you, you might feel the referee's out to get you, right? But that's really not going to be the case. And when you get that experience...
Sometimes it is not the case.
I'm sorry for those experiences.
Yes. All right, so anyway, nevertheless. Yeah. So, before you go, because Maria's going to stay with us for a while. So, therefore, Special, from your perspective, what would you tell other young persons getting involved in rugby who may be hesitant, both male and female, who may be hesitant to get involved in rugby because of, some people describe it, including myself, growing up watching rugby, I always thought rugby was a rough sport. I must be put everything other than rugby. I really didn't want nobody to hit me, and I can't hit them back, obviously, right? Legally, that is, of course. We're going. Yeah.
That's why you should play rugby.
Yeah. I hear you.
It's not hitting; it's a tackle.
A tackle. All
right.
It's
a strong hug.
All right. Okay.
So, firstly, my advice would be to just start. In my opinion, the more famous sports like basketball or football, they have contact.
They do.
They may not be the same as rugby, but you still get injured.
Yes, you do.
Playing basketball or football or hockey.
Yes.
But I think the most important thing people need to remember is that we have things in place in terms of knowing techniques. So it's not that you're coming to play rugby and you're just getting thrown to the wolves like, hey, just do this or do that. You have things to follow. Your coaches have things to teach you from the ground level, go up into national level or whatever the case may be. So I think just start. Everybody may not like it, but if it is something that you joined and you can see yourself furthering in it, I'd say stick with it and just do your best all the time.
And your final aim, Maria mentioned you made your debut in 15 aside rugby. What is your final goal, aim in terms of as a player now?
I would say that I would want to continue along this path. I had opportunities to start training for national before, but I was not confident in myself at that point in time. And it took a lot for me to be...
What position do you play?
I am a prop.
Okay, prop. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, yes.
It took a lot for me to be where I am now, especially confidence-wise. Like, I believe in myself more, I could get stuff done more, and it's not only because of me, but because of the support that I have around me. As Maria said, like, we are a very welcoming community. We support each other, and I hope that never changes because it really is something beneficial, not just for rugby, but it helps you in your everyday life.
Maria mentioned that her family took a while to come along. Those are my words, not her words, right? So how was it with your family?
Honestly, my family did not really have like a reaction to me joining rugby. It was like, oh, you wanted to do this thing, so yeah, my father, he does a lot for me. My mother supported me with joining. She kind of, like, she came to 1 or 2 games and it was kind of like, like senior getting hit and those kind of stuff. But more or less, I have the support. Like, my dad makes sure I go to training. He makes sure I get to my tournaments. Like, I have the support from my family.
All right, we'll take a short break. This is WESN Content Capital Face of Sport. When we come back, we'll continue talking rugby. The president will be with us, and we'll also have another guest. Take a short break. We'll be back. Welcome back. As we promised you, we continue to talk rugby. We've got the president with us, Maria Thomas. Let me make sure I get it right. Maria Thomas, the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Rugby Union. She's still with us. And we've been joined by a young man, Rayshawn Nathan Coody. He plays under 16 rugby. He is joining us as well. Nathan, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. All right, so in fact, let me start with you first, Rayshawn. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from South Abacat, Faizabad, and I'm 16 years old, and I attend St. Benedict's College, and I'm in Form 5.
So you attend St. Benedict's College, which is well known for football.
Yes.
Why rugby?
Well, it stood out to me when I was younger. Well, I started in Form 1, and I was going to do the football, but I didn't really like football, to be honest. It was just, everyone liked it, but I didn't like it. But I started dragon boat because I liked water, but I kind of found it boring after a while. And
so how you got involved in rugby?
My bad. Coach he came in school a day, and my friends told me a new sport arrived in the school, and he said, let's check it out, and I started playing rugby from then.
Your friend who told you about the sport, is he still in the sport too?
Yes.
All right, so both of you all in the sport.
Yeah.
You are clearly not a prop, right? So you are running, you are what?
Fly half.
Fly half, right. Clearly, right. So I can figure that out. So tell us a little bit about your experiences.
Well, I found rugby fun since Form 1. I just continued playing the sport. I've been playing the sport for like 5 years. I like rugby because of the contact. That's why I really like
You
rugby.
like the contact?
I like the contact.
You like the contact that you could be hit?
I like the running, and I like always pass the ball as well, back and...
So you don't mind to be hit by a bigger person because you are fly after the person charging you are much bigger, obviously.
Yeah. That's
you okay with that?
Yeah.
How did your family accept it?
My father liked that how I liked the sport so much because I came home and say, Daddy, I started rugby, I really like the sport, and well, he see that I like the sport and he encouraged me to play the sport more. So
your mom?
Yeah, she
encouraged you to get hit? All right.
I I started with Tag X. This year we started playing contact, but since
Oh, I
Form
started
1,
with tag, right?
yeah,
Yes.
Tag X, but
Right,
I
Tag
knew
X.
the game was a contact sport
Yeah.
more than others, but I still see in this work, I like the contact.
No. So Maria, when you have youngsters like these who
Yes.
willing, the two willing, how does it feel? How does it feel?
Well, it's wonderful, and we're
Yeah.
very excited. The Schools Rugby Union for Trinidad and Tobago has done some incredible work. There was a great campaign that was spearheaded by Ambassador Dir Shaber. He helped out with a number of the missions who were involved with the Rugby World Cup, and it has increased the profile, and hopefully we can continue that caravan. It gets a lot more students aware of rugby and into the rugby, and as Rayshawn said, they are introduced with non-contact rugby.
Yeah,
So Tag X is a really cool product where we're actually able to play locally and compete globally in a, magical online system, right? And so players are able to come together. It can play as open divisions because it's non-contact. So you can play co-ed, it can be, mixed ability, it can be mixed ages, it can be all of these things. So it's a really great way to get into rugby. And then, as Rayshawn said as well, we do specific clinics to get into the contact part of rugby. And there was a clinic for under 16, and clearly it was, well, I won't speak for you. How was it?
It was fun. I found it was very fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Have you found that the acceptance, even in St. Benedict's or in the schools, just as Maria mentioned, have you found a lot of acceptance for rugby or it's football? Of course, I know it's still prominent, right? But in terms of acceptance for rugby, how have you found it among your peers?
Well, my school, others see that we're enjoying ourselves, and
Right.
that would make them want to play rugby. So far in the school,
And how are you all doing from a competitive point of view?
well,
the
yeah,
school itself?
winning right now.
You all winning?
Yeah. Well, any clubs right now, we winning.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Maria, okay, so let's come back now. Just now you mentioned, obviously, when we had special on, you were talking about the return of 15-a-side
Yes.
rugby, right? Of course, 7-a-side rugby has come on leaps and bounds over the years and in most people's minds, gone ahead. How is the level in terms of Trinidad and Tobago? There was a time, I remember, I went to commentate a game up at the Larry Combs Stadium a good while ago, right? Maybe more than 10 years ago. And Trinidad and Tobago were competing at the time, trying to get in. It could have been the Olympics at the time. It could have been, it could have been Brazil. It was some foreign team at the end of the day. But what has happened to rugby since?
So the 15s format of rugby,
Yeah.
we are quite strong within the region.
Okay.
We hosted both Barbados and USA South in Trinidad and Tobago, and the senior team was victorious in both cases.
Okay.
We're looking forward to hosting the USA South Panthers women in February of next year. An exciting point is that Trinidad and Tobago, we competed with USA South Panthers in senior and under 23 men's 15s. The USA South was at the women's 15s in Jamaica when we returned to that format, and we didn't compete in the sevens, but we played in the other categories and divisions of the sport. We've also, again, thank you to Barbados who came across. St. Lucia has organized competitions that our athletes have participated in recently, the Grenada World Sevens. So within the region, we're getting a lot more opportunity to compete, and we're looking forward to hosting more in Trinidad and Tobago. We hosted teams like Trinity College from Canada, which is a youth team. The Texas Rattlesnakes were hosted here as well. So we're hoping to really make it a hub, and also, thank you for the invitation, because we would love to open the sport to more people in Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to play, but also come and spectate. It's a really fun event.
So I think about 2 weeks ago on a Saturday, there was an event. There was a rugby event down at the barracks or somewhere around there, or maybe
We've
so
had our
Savannah,
7 series.
Or 7 series, yeah, there was. How was, tell us about that. How was that attended? How was the attendance like?
Right, so the 7 series is very exciting.
Yes.
It was off the back of our 15s local league, which came back into more of a full force. Right, we got some games in last year, but we were able to play a proper league this year and also include games for the women and the under-19s. And then, of course, everyone's rearing to go for the 7 series. Police hosted the first one, Harvard's the second.
That's why it was done there, right, okay.
And then Silvo's Rugby Academy hosted the third, and Caribs the fourth. So it's a great time because it's lots and lots of games, it's lots of excitement, it's very fast-paced, as you said, And it's a great day to come out just to enjoy the rugby.
So are you seeing more persons, other than rugby persons, getting involved so far?
We've begun to see it.
Okay.
I would say that we can also take responsibility
Sure.
for inviting others to come.
Sure.
We need to work on our venues. So having venues secured that we know it's not going to change so that we can put things in place and advertise, and get some merch to sell, have concessions. We have everything in place. We're just really looking for that consistent home where we can invite, right? We want to invite people, but we got to make sure that we have
Now,
certain
in the
things
past,
in place.
I remember when I used to interview persons from rugby, there was always this whether it was an unwritten rule or written rule, that normally after a rugby game on a Saturday, the rugby persons don't go home, right? They normally spend at least another 2 hours or hour ingesting various items, obviously, and liming and relaxing. Is that atmosphere still there?
Yes. So this is a huge part. It's the third half,
Yeah.
right? There are
Yes.
3 halves to rugby: first half, second half, and third half,
Okay.
right?
First time anybody ever explained it that way to me. So go ahead, let me hear the third half.
Yes, and so after the game, and this is how our community is so close-knit, the host team,
Yes.
then they invite everyone back. So it's not just this big competition on the pitch. Afterwards, then you are friends, right? You're only fighting on the pitch, or you're playing against each other on the pitch. Afterwards, you're congratulating each other. You're looking for the person who gave you that really good tackle or that good step, because
A good tackle is it,
Yes, because how much respect you have for a person, especially as an athlete, when you know you work at a skill, and then you see someone who does that skill really, really well. That's respect, right?
All right, okay.
So we build that, and also having families around and the community. So the clubhouses are an important part of this, because it comes back to the same thing. You have to have somewhere to invite people to come back to. Big up to the community, because we had a lot of rain at some of our tournaments, and everyone is still out there. We're out there, rain or shine, no matter what, supporting each other. So
Is Carib still the top club in Trinidad and Tobago or not?
So in the Sevens series, Defense Force was actually victorious in 3 out of 4. They attended 3, so they were victorious in the 3 tournaments that they were at. So they did very well. And Caribs was victorious in the senior division of Silvo's Sevens.
All right, so going forward, first let me start with you, Rishon. What are some of your aims and your aspirations going forward? You're a young man. What are some of your aims?
Well, right now, I personally want to join the under-18 national team or under-19 national team. And well, I actually want to take this as professionally.
Yes.
So I want to go away to play rugby as well.
What is going to enhance that opportunity for you? What's going to make it happen?
By me training, and it's come down to luck in a kind of way, but by me training, I'm showing myself out there, coming in tournaments.
Sure.
After showcase myself
Okay.
to get a scholarship or something.
Maria, in terms of, because of what was just mentioned by Rishon, in terms of these teams and preparation and coaching, how is that going? Because a lot of sports in Trinidad and Tobago, the administration identify, yes, they want the sport to improve, but of course they have to name coaches, whether it be a national coach at various levels. How is that going for you all?
All right, so it is completely a team effort, a community effort. We're looking forward to hosting a training and education super week in the first quarter of next year. And yes, that's a huge part of it. We have to make sure that we're providing the resources that are necessary, not only for athletes, but for the coaches that they have here, to make sure that they're continually upgrading. There are law changes within rugby. Player welfare is paramount. And so you have to keep up to date with those law changes to make sure that we are playing the safest rugby. And of course, the networking that happens alongside that. We're really excited to see so much development in South. There are actually multiple projects going on in South right now, and some other ones that we've got our fingers crossed for next year, because we see some incredible athletes all over the country, including Tobago as well. Tobago is going to kick off 2024 in January with Tobago Classic Sevens tournament. So it's a lot of moving parts, and Trinidad and Tobago is a very dynamic union. So we're not, well, I mean, we could, but we choose not to just zero in on something that's maybe small and manageable, because we see the talent all over the community. And when you hear something like Rayshon saying, what does he have to do? He's got to train, he's got to showcase himself. He's doing what he has to do. So that means that from where I sit, I need to do what I have to do, right? Because he's put in his part. I need to put in my part. And all the way across, that's how we make sure that Trinidad and Tobago rugby is as successful as we want it to be.
Final word for you first. What message you want to tell to other youngsters?
Well, not everything is for everyone, but you have to try the sport to know if you like the sport. So start to play rugby, and well, you gain lifelong friends from playing rugby as well. So it's a very good sport.
Maria, as you go, final message to the people at Trinidad and Tobago, corporate Trinidad and Tobago, and others to come out and support rugby. Final words.
Well, again, I would like to thank the station for inviting us. We really appreciate the airtime.
Thank Darren Lisi.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
So thank you very much for the invitation. We would like to return an invitation,
Sure,
you know,
certainly.
and invite you to some rugby events. We've got a lot of things in the works for 2024, including a calendar, so that we can let people know in advance.
One of the cameramen, I feel he could, well, not cameraman, one of the men who work behind production as well. He looks like he's good. In fact, both of them look like they're really good in rugby. So it's a good idea.
Yes, so we just ask that look out for it. Across the board, everyone's doing the work that they need to do. The players are, the refs are, the coaches are, the administrators
Darren never
are.
played rugby, Darren, they sing.
I won't speak for him.
All right. Good. Take the fifth. We'll take a short break. Much thanks to you and best of luck going forward, obviously.
Thank you very much.
Take a short break. When we come back, we'll have some horse racing. Take a short break. We'll be back.